Tonight on CTV News at 6, voter list leak investigations underway.
But it just takes one person who takes that stuff too far.
A former premier blasts Alberta separatists as the Privacy Commissioner and RCMP go to work.
I think a lot of these separatist organizations have been playing fast and loose with the rules for far too long.
Allegations of a hate-motivated assault in St. Albert.
He started punching him, lift him up, drop him on the floor.
And Alberta seeding season feels the effects of a war half a world away.
There are drastic changes. It does hit the bottom line and take right out of the profit margin.
Mild mornings and afternoon highs near 20. The warm spell is sticking around for a while.
CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Jeff Hastings.
Good evening. Alberta's Privacy Commissioner is launching an investigation into a data breach involving a leaked voter list of nearly 3 million Albertans. It comes as former Premier Jason Kenney calls on the province to consider stricter rules around who can be classified as a political party. Nicole Weisberg reports.
But it just takes one person who takes that stuff too far.
Former Premier Jason Kenney says he isn't one to live in fear. However, he takes the fact his information, along with millions of others, was illegally posted online seriously.
Some of the folks and the more over-caffeinated people in the separatist movement have had me as a target, certainly a political target, since COVID.
Kenney says he's received numerous threats over the years. So when he heard his information in particular was searched during a Centurion Project meeting, he looked at it as borderline incitement.
I hope that there are serious consequences for those responsible and those involved. I think a lot of these separatist organizations have been playing fast and loose with the rules for far too long.
Kenney is considering legal action, and this Alberta lawyer says it's likely others are doing the same.
There's definitely precedent for bringing this kind of case, and I would be pretty surprised if someone didn't file a class action on this.
Kenney says he'd be open to being a part of a class action. Politically, he considers this a nonpartisan issue, so he believes the UCP and Alberta NDP should come together to consider tightening some rules.
My own personal view is that the so-called Republican Party of Alberta, which apparently is ultimately responsible for these leaks, is not a bona fide political party. Maybe if you're going to get access to the full voter list, you should have to put down a good behavior bond.
A letter signed by 38 scholars calls for an independent public inquiry, saying that is the most effective way to restore faith in our electoral system. The Premier and UCP ministers have said they want to wait until investigations by the police and Elections Alberta are complete before taking any action. Nicole Weisberg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Elections Alberta says more than 550 people gained access to the voter database. It believes 23 people were given full copies and another 545 obtained it through an online tool the Centurion Project made publicly available. All 568 people were sent cease and desist letters last night. Some are now required to provide a signed declaration they have complied with the direction not to use or share the list. The Privacy Commissioner's office has created a frequently asked questions resource for anyone concerned about their data. That resource can be found on the Commissioner's website. The USP government has welcomed Lesser Slave Lake MLA Scott Sinclair back into caucus more than a year after he was kicked out. The party expelled Sinclair from caucus in March 2025 after he criticized the party's budget and threatened to vote against it. Sinclair sat as an independent. He later aligned with former Cabinet Minister Peter Guthrie, who had also been expelled from caucus. The two MLAs joined forces to relaunch the Progressive Conservative Party. However, when Guthrie rebranded it to the Progressive Tory Party of Alberta, Sinclair chose to remain an independent. Yesterday in the legislature, Sinclair apologized for criticizing the Premier and the budget, saying it was a moment he's not proud of.
Hockey was my whole life growing up, and sometimes emotions run high and things get passionate. But no individual performance, regardless of passion and emotion, wins championships or experiences success like a strong team does. I understand that for us to serve our constituents and best serve our province, we need to work and win as a team.
The UCP says it believes Sinclair has reflected on the expectations of caucus MLAs and demonstrated renewed commitment to the party. A man attacked by a stranger in St. Albert says he's now scared to get behind the wheel of his car. The accused has been charged with aggravated assault. As Nerman Issa reports, the Muslim community also wants the attack investigated as possibly motivated by hate.
When they were close to him, he takes his car and cut them off.
Ahmed Abdul Qadir says the St. Albert couple is trying to understand why they were attacked last Friday afternoon. Qadir says the pair were leaving the local mosque when they were confronted by another driver.
Out from the car, cursing them, calling them names, calling them ape, the N-word. He started punching him, lift him up, drop him on the floor.
56-year-old Ali Wahid Noor was taken to hospital. He was treated for several lacerations and a chipped tooth.
He's having continuous headaches. He cannot sleep at night.
His wife was not injured. The couple is thanking the people who came to their aid.
And he said that I cannot believe how many people of good heart in St. Albert and the Muslim community. And not only that, some of the Jewish community even outreach us, say that we cannot tolerate what happened.
St. Albert's mayor says he's disturbed by what happened.
We're going to, have some conversations internally and ensure that St. Albert remains just exactly what we want it to be. And it's extremely disheartening. And, we absolutely don't welcome violence of any nature.
The National Council of Canadian Muslims says it's working with local officials as well as with the family to ensure they are receiving support.
There's been a continuous issues around Islamophobia and around anti-immigrant hate. We're noticing that there needs to be concrete actions from all three levels of government to address these types of incidents.
RCMP have arrested 40-year-old Ryan Richard Lacasse of St. Albert. The 40-year-old has been charged with aggravated assault, uttering threats, and 2 Traffic Act offences. Nerman Issa, CTV News, Edmonton.
The RCMP says a case has to go to court before it can be considered hate-motivated. A judge can determine that based on evidence presented. That ruling could lead to a longer sentence. Edmonton police have charged a 30-year-old man after seizing a sawed-off gun. Police say late last month, officers were called to the Churchill LRT station. They say a man was interfering with first responders who were trying to help someone. Officers arrested the man and found the gun in his backpack. Police say the accused has a lifetime ban from owning firearms stemming from a previous manslaughter charge. Trails around a West End park will be closed tomorrow for a prescribed burn. City crews plan on doing the burn in Jan Reimer Park, which is across the river from Terwilliger Park. The Terwilliger footbridge will also be closed. Prescribed burns help reduce wildfire fuel. The city says it will only go ahead if weather conditions allow crews to control the flames and smoke. An evacuation alert has been lifted for a community near Fort McMurray that was in danger of flooding. About 140 people live in Draper. The evacuation alert was active for more than a week. An ice jam on the Athabasca River was causing nearby water levels to rise, along with worry of overland flooding. Today, the regional municipality of Wood Buffalo lifted the alert. There is no longer a significant risk of ice jams. The municipality says there are still several ice runs expected to pass near the town. It warns people should still keep a safe distance from the riverbanks. Between the high price of fuel and fertilizer, farmers are facing a steep increase in what it costs to get a crop to harvest. That could trickle down to shoppers later this fall. One expert believes the true impact of the increase may not be felt until the next growing season. Jeremy Thompson reports.
Halfway between Kalmar and Thorsby is a long way from the Strait of Hormuz. But the conflict that's impacting gas prices is also influencing the cost of fertilizer. About 1/3 of the world's supply travels through that waterway.
There are products that have gone up more than 50%. Other products, that regular 10 to 15%. So there are drastic changes. It does hit the bottom line and take right out of the profit margin.
Farmers like Joe Benderitis buy fertilizer by the truckload. Any change in price can make tens of thousands of dollars difference to their input costs. Most grain farmers around here use 2 types of fertilizer.
The anhydrous ammonia is locally produced within Alberta, and it can be produced at a rate that farmers are using it.
The nitrogen is pumped into the soil. Granular fertilizer pellets are also used, loaded into this hopper with seed. That product is seeing the biggest price spike. Benderitis ordered his pellets back in December, before the strait closed. Farm Credit Canada estimates more than 70% of farmers did the same.
The longer it goes on, it seems like we'll have more fertilizer supply issues going forward. And if it lasts, a couple more months, that starts to impact then fertilizer prices for 2027 plant.
That means consumers may not see higher prices until fall 2027. Still, senior economist Lee Anderson says farmers are feeling the pinch. Meanwhile, Benderitis says he actually likes what he sees in the futures market for the price of barley, wheat, and canola.
I have my product on hand. We're going to get our crop in. And I think most farmers are going to still have a great season.
He says the shorter-term cost pressure in agriculture is fuel. Near Kalmar, Jeremy Thompson, CTV News.
City Council has approved the construction of a new tower near the University of Alberta. Earlier this week, Council unanimously approved the rezoning of 2 plots of land on 87th Ave and 117th Street. Development company Westridge Pacific plans to build a tower that could be as high as 27 stories, plus a neighboring 4-story low-rise. The tower will have 260 rental units, underground parking, and commercial space on the lower levels. Planning is now underway. Construction is expected to begin in late 2027 or early 2028. A new provincial pilot program aims to help young Indigenous people find careers in the trades while meeting the growing demand for skilled labor. The province is spending $300,000 on the Indigenous Mentorship and Pathways program. As part of the program, 3 symposiums will be held in Calgary, Edmonton, and Fort McMurray. They'll bring together Indigenous leaders, educators, and skilled trades employers who will share information about careers and job opportunities. Participants will be able to learn more about fields like construction, electrical work, and plumbing.
We know that many young people face real barriers when exploring careers in the skilled trades. Limited access to training information, fewer connections to employers, and challenges obtaining opportunities. This pilot is designed to help close those gaps. Led by people who understand the trades.
The province says the program will also help Indigenous recruitment agencies determine best practices. All right, Josh, that was a nice day. I got nothing else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, a little breezy through this afternoon, but temperatures up to 22 degrees for a daytime high today, and we're going to stay around 20 for daytime highs for the next 5 to 10 days. It wasn't all that long ago that we only had 12 and 13 for daytime highs Monday, Tuesday of this week, but things have turned around, and it looks like they'll stay on the warm side. 21 right now downtown. There's your wind out of the north, 20 gusting to about 30 kilometers per hour. Look at the impact the clouds and scattered showers had overnight last night, insulating things and keeping temperatures at 11 degrees for a morning low. That's just 4 degrees off the average high for this time of year. Those clouds did clear out, though, earlier in the day today. This is what it looks like right now. Blue skies with just a few clouds hanging over the city. That's a nice shot from the CTV drone, flying high over the ballpark and the Walterdale Bridge. We'll stay mainly clear to partly cloudy through the rest of this evening and overnight tonight. All those showers in through western parts of Alberta, those will all track off to the southeast. So through the foothills from around Edson, southeast towards Calgary, we'll see some more scattered showers. Red Deer area might get a scattered shower here overnight tonight. But in the Edmonton region, it's going to stay dry tonight, and actually most of the next 5 to 7 days look fairly dry. The only chance in the next couple of days would be Sunday afternoon. A little breezy as well for the next few days. 19 or 20 for a high tomorrow, with again gusts to around 30 kilometers per hour. We'll take a closer look at the weekend forecast and that chance of showers for Mother's Day in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, Edmonton as a PWHL option.
It's just undeniable that Edmonton wants a team, and Edmonton needs a team.
The odds of our city getting its own professional women's team as girls hockey grows. And later,
they don't love the fake Canadian version that we often see written out of LA with, people putting maple syrup in their coffee.
How Canadians feel about our depictions in fiction, including embracing stereotypes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Professional Women's Hockey League will be growing, jumping from 8 teams to as many as 12. Evan Kenny has more on Edmonton's appetite for a team and how likely the city is to get one.
The PWHL is expanding with a team in Detroit. The league previously announced it would add 2 to 4 teams this offseason, leaving some asking, could Edmonton be next?
I think that sort of passion for a local franchise would just explode if we were to get one.
Hockey Edmonton says the number of girls playing in our city has skyrocketed.
We have seen such an incredible growth in the girls' game over the last couple years, not just in numbers, but in visibility, opportunity, and excitement.
And Edmonton has a track record of supporting the women's game.
She'll took the delay for Daryl Watt to wrap around. She scores!
Hosting 3 PWHL takeover games.
All alone, in comes Murphy. She scores!
And packing crowds for the rivalry series between Team Canada and Team USA.
The senior leadership team with the PWHL is really keen on Edmonton because it is such a great sports city.
However, Rogers Place is a busy arena, hosting the Oilers, Oil Kings, and concerts most nights of the week.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I don't think that there's a chance that we get a PWHL team anytime soon. As of right now, there just really isn't somewhere for them that is the proper size venue for them.
While it may not be likely Edmonton will have a team until there's new infrastructure, Hockey Edmonton is staying hopeful.
When you go in the buildings and you've seen the excitement and the energy at the takeover tours, it's just undeniable that Edmonton wants a team and Edmonton needs a team. So I think it's just a matter of time before we get one.
TSN reports Hamilton and Denver are the next 2 frontrunners for the expansion. Evan Kenny, CTV News, Edmonton.
Spruce Grove's Energy City Cactus Rats say they can't commit to an opening date for their new ballpark this summer. An email to subscribers says while meetings are ongoing, the team is unable to announce a definitive date for the opening of the ballpark. It says more work needs to be done to meet required code and safety clearances. Players are expected to arrive for the season in 2 weeks. Energy City Metro Ballpark's first on-field game is scheduled for Saturday, June 6th. Work on the stadium began in 2023. It was scheduled to open last June. Last year, 2025 season ticket holders were given full credits towards 2026 tickets. Still ahead, a right and wrong way to produce Canadian content.
But these intrepid fishermen are still happy to be out competing in Lake Athabasca's Bass Fishing Jamboree, an August 1st tradition.
How Canadians feel about our representation in pop culture and what we'd like to see more of.
Should be a beautiful evening out there. Look at that shot from the CTV drone. Partly cloudy skies. Wind will die down later on this evening. It does look like the wind comes back tomorrow, though. It's like, take a closer look at that and the weekend forecast in just a few minutes.
Programming brought to you by Final Symphony with your Edmonton Symphony Orchestra. Learn more at winspearcenter.com.
Okay, grade 5s, let's talk about the wind. Do you like the wind?
No.
Oh, some people do. Some people don't. Depends if it's blowing warm air in, right? A lot of our strongest wind, though, comes when a cold front comes through and blows in some colder air. And that's because the pressure rises really rapidly behind a cold front. It's that change. Is it a change in temperature or change in pressure that gives us most of our wind? Pressure, that's right. A change in temperature can give you a little bit, but it's mostly the change of pressure. So let's say you've got a big, tall building here. We'll call that a high pressure system, and a small building, we'll call that a low pressure system. And then we've got another high and low here, but there's not as much difference between those two. What if we put a piece of concrete from here to here, or another one from here to here, and then you stood on either of these high pressure systems on a skateboard? Which one are you going to go faster down, A or B? A! That's right, because there's a big change in pressure and it's happening really quickly. There's also a change in pressure here, but it's not as big of a change. What if we went from here to here and we called that C? Is A or C going to be a stronger wind? A! That's right. This is like a black diamond if you were going skiing, right? This would be more like a bunny hill. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay, so that's how we get our wind. These are the grade 5s from smart kids out here in Sherwood Park, forecasters of the future, and you are.
Weather Watchers brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Strong schools equal a strong Alberta.
Politeness to Poutine. A new survey finds Canadians are getting a bit tired of the way we're stereotyped in pop culture. Still, Canadians are also known to have a little fun with our reputation. CTV's Ryan McDonald explains.
Hey! There's not going to be any fight without Scott Riles and the incredibly polite Canadian news team.
Yeah! Canadian cliches are commonplace in pop culture, and as the stereotype would have it, we're typically pretty good-natured about them.
I mean, aside from oot and a boot, it's saying sorry all the time. And I'm really sorry, but I don't mind apologizing.
But according to a new survey by the Writers Guild of Canada, Canadians are finding it a bit cringe to be reduced to, as the Guild puts it, parkas, politeness, and punchlines.
They don't love the fake Canadian version that we often see written out of LA with, people putting maple syrup in their coffee.
Well, the snow's coming down pretty hard, but these intrepid fishermen are still happy to be out competing in Lake Athabasca's Bass Fishing Jamboree, an August 1st tradition.
From the idea that it's always winter here to suggestions that we are backwoods and boring.
Hey, what's up, ladies? Oh, you're from around these parts, eh? Yeah, I'm from Saskatchewan. What's up in Canada, eh?
The survey found Canadians often feel a bit typecast, but sometimes we play up the cliches ourselves. There was the time back in 2009 when two Cape Breton politicians called 911 to try and save a beaver stuck on a busy Ottawa street.
I stopped 6 lanes of traffic, and in about a half hour we had them return to the Ottawa River.
They are Quebec's twin passions, hockey and poutine.
Then there was the time Gatineau City Council tried to ban this staple food from its rinks.
You can't do that.
You can't be serious.
Oh, I am as serious as a poutine shortage in Chicoutimi during a curling bonspiel.
What people here are actually serious about, according to the survey, is seeing real Canadian content.
When we find our own shows, our Letterkennys and stuff, they travel universally around the world. They're popular because they're genuine.
We're gonna gouge your eyes out and kick your head in! Sorry!
Of course, exaggerations aside, it's only Canadian to laugh at ourselves just a bit too. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
If our reputation was based on days like today, it would be impeccable.
Yeah, the weather was spectacular. A couple days ago, you may have had a different story. Take a look outside right now at the Action Furnace River Valley Skycam. Action Furnace, fixed right or it's free. 21 degrees right now after hitting 22 for a daytime high earlier today. 20s from Coronation all the way up through eastern Alberta into Fort McMurray. Fort McMurray, you're going to get a big cool down tomorrow. It's not going to last more than a day or so, but tomorrow you're back closer to 10 for a daytime high. Mid-teens, it looks like, for Saturday and into Sunday as well. 21 in Red Deer today, 22 in Grand Prairie. Grand Prairie as well, after being in the low 20s here yesterday and today, you're going to drop back into the 14 or 15 range for a daytime high. There's a little bit of cooler air that's going to sink in across the north. Pretty gusty today across northwestern Alberta. Strongest wind gusts, though, earlier today were in east-central Alberta. Gusts up around 60 kilometers per hour. On the map here, you get into the red zones, that's where you've got the strongest gusts. You'll notice that kind of dies down through this evening. So this is about 9, 10 o'clock. Wind eases. Wind stays pretty light through tomorrow morning. And then just like today, around lunchtime and through the afternoon hours, you get some gusts from Edmonton off to the east. Again, the strongest wind gusts will be in east-central Alberta. We'll see gusts to about 30 kilometers per hour here in the city. That'll stick around through to supper time. And then the wind will ease Friday evening. And it actually looks like most of the day Saturday, we get a break from the wind. The exception is in the northwest, where it'll be a little breezy through Saturday afternoon. I think the wind comes back Sunday, Monday here in the Edmonton area. So gusty tomorrow. Enjoy the break Saturday. Sunday, Monday, back to some spring gusts. You've got an area of low pressure way up to the north that's going to haul in some of that cooler air into northern Alberta here over the next 24 hours. And then further to the south, you've got these showers that have popped up in through the foothills. You might see a couple little sprinkles in and around the Red Deer region, but we'll stay clear and dry here in the Edmonton area overnight tonight. And that'll be the case again Friday night into Saturday. Areas further to the south and to the west, though, you will likely see at least some showers. By tomorrow afternoon, after a sunny start to the day, cloud cover starts to increase. There's some rain across the south, some showers as well into western areas. And watch how that tracks southeast, slips way past the west-southwest corner of the Edmonton area. Red Deer, again, Saturday morning might see some scattered showers. Here in Edmonton, just cloudy to start the day Saturday, and then some sunny breaks in the afternoon. 19 degrees right now in Fort McMurray, 21s, Edmonton, Red Deer, 22 still in Grand Prairie. You still have some gusts to about 45 kilometers per hour here in the east. Here in Edmonton, 20 gusting to 30, but as we said, over the next hour or two, that should come to an end, and the wind will be light overnight tonight. There's the gusts returning, though, midday and through the afternoon hours with a high of about 19 or 20 tomorrow, and not quite as warm as it was this morning. It was 11 degrees for a morning low this morning. It will be about 7 tomorrow morning. 8s for morning lows through the weekend and into Monday. Breezy for Mother's Day. Chance of a couple scattered showers, but at this point, it doesn't look like any heavy rain, and nice warm temperatures right through to at least the middle of next week.
Thank you, Josh. Still ahead, the latest on a deadly hantavirus outbreak aboard a cruise ship.
Consular support will be in place when the ship reaches port.
What will happen to the 4 Canadians on board and whether we can expect to see more cases? Also next.
They do our nation proud, and we really need to get behind our snowbirds. It's an SOS call. It's Save Our Snowbird.
Fear a Canadian aerobatic icon could be cancelled. Stay with us.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law. Programming brought to you by Century Casino, 3 great locations, Edmonton, St. Albert, and Century Mile.
Global Affairs Canada officials are on their way to meet 4 Canadians as a cruise ship heads towards Spain's Canary Islands following an outbreak of hantavirus. CTV's Adrian Gabriel reports.
One of our passengers sadly passed away last night.
Sunday, April 12th, this captain's address informs those on board the MV Honduras that a passenger has died, though there's no signs of an infectious disease on the ship.
It was due to natural causes, we believe.
Rohi Chenet recorded the captain speaking to those on board.
People were socializing with each other. We had our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner all together in the dining room, sitting side by side.
3 people have died since the ship set sail from Argentina a month ago. 8 others are suspected to have contracted the virus. So far, the 4 Canadians who remain on board are showing no symptoms, though CTV News has now learned that 2 additional Canadians are among the more than 24 people from 12 different countries who left the ship 2 weeks ago unaware of the outbreak.
For these 2 individuals, they have been, from day one, monitored and assessed on a daily basis.
Confirmation that a Quebecer who was on the same flight as a passenger with hantavirus is also in isolation. In a social media post, Quebec's Minister of Health saying it doesn't seem like they were in close proximity and the risk of transmission is very low. There are minimal concerns for the wider public, according to the World Health Organization. Hantavirus is usually spread through the inhalation of contaminated rodent droppings and isn't easily transmitted between people.
Given the incubation period of the Andes virus, which can be up to 6 weeks, it's possible that more cases may be reported.
The MV Honduras cruise ship was anchored for 3 days near Cape Verde off the coast of West Africa. It's now located here in the North Atlantic as it travels towards Spain's Canary Islands, where it's expected to arrive this weekend with more than 140 people on board.
Consular support will be in place when the ship reaches port.
Those who remain on the ship have shared that health and safety protocols are now in place, though many have been left to wonder if more could have been done sooner. The World Health Organization clearly stating that this outbreak is different than the COVID-19 pandemic. This is limited to just a small number of people, and currently there's no national or global threat. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
The school in Tumbler Ridge, which was the site of a mass shooting in February, will be torn down and rebuilt on a new site. BC Premier David Eby says the plan took shape on the night he attended a vigil in the northeastern BC town.
One of the things that was apparent to me in conversations with some of the kids from the school was a high level of anxiety about whether or not they'd have to go back to the same school building. And I said in my remarks that night that no child would be forced, no educator would be forced, no staff would be forced to go back into that same school building.
6 people were killed, 2 others wounded when an 18-year-old former student opened fire at the school February 10th. The mass murder shocked the small community and drew an outpouring of grief from around the country. Canada's iconic Snowbirds will take to the sky in Alberta this summer, possibly for the last time. A Conservative MP says Ottawa is preparing to pause or cancel the popular Air Force program due to an aging fleet, forcing the Defence Minister to respond. CTV's Graham Richardson reports.
For decades, they've been a Canadian symbol of blue skies and hot summer days. But Conservatives are now warning 2026 will be the last time Canadians will be able to see the iconic Snowbirds for many years to come.
Up front, the Snowbirds are being cancelled. This is the last season.
Tommy is the former mayor of Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, home base for the Snowbirds. He says the schedule is normal for 2026, but after that, the planes will stay on the ground.
They do our nation proud. And we really need to get behind our Snowbirds. It's an SOS call. It's Save Our Snowbirds.
2 air shows confirmed to CTV they are not booked in 2027 and referred all questions back to the Snowbirds. When asked directly about the future of the program, Defence Minister David McGuinty's office refused all comment. One Liberal MP said cost is a factor.
At what cost? So, I mean, yeah, it's a Canadian institution. Would be sad to see it go, but I'm not sure how much it costs for the Snowbirds.
After our story published online, the minister said this in the House of Commons.
This member surely can't be suggesting he's going to put the pilots, the women and men of that fleet, in harm's way.
In 2021, the government committed $30 million to upgrade the fleet and keep it flying until 2030. It appears the Snowbirds won't make it that long.
This is like maple syrup. This is like, ice cold Canadian beer. This is like, gravy on our poutine.
So why not just replace the fleet altogether once and for all? Well, the cost to do that will be between $1 and $2 billion with all the other government priorities. Aerobatics in the air and a new Snowbird fleet may not be top of the list. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ottawa.
There has been a significant drop in American exports of distilled spirits to Canada. Canadians simply aren't buying American, and now a new Nanos poll for CTV shows a majority stand behind the boycott. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Running a big softball tournament this weekend has Thomas Ray stocking up on Canadian coolers. A boycott of American liquor hasn't changed things for him.
I just stick to what's available and what's delicious. Mostly Niagara Falls stuff.
You're happy to support Canada.
Super happy to support Canada.
More than a year after provinces started pulling American booze from Canadian shelves and the U.S. made its irritation clear.
It is outrageous that Canada will not put U.S. spirits on the shelf. It is insulting.
It is.
And disrespectful.
New polling by Nanos for CTV News shows most Canadians maintain boycotting U.S.-made goods and travel to the U.S. is helpful to strengthening Canada's bargaining position. 53% believe it's helpful and 29% somewhat helpful. Not much changed when asked the same question in October.
I think a lot of this has to do with the fact that there hasn't really been significant progress in the trade discussions with the United States.
I don't go there. I have family there. Haven't visited in a hot second.
I won't spend any of my extra money on anything from the United States.
It gives us leverage. We should know. We can't give that up.
I think they should bring back American products, definitely. A good bourbon once in a while never hurt anyone.
The American liquor lobby would appreciate that last remark after seeing a 63 to 67% reduction of exports to Canada.
We've seen a reduction in jobs, and small craft distilleries in the United States are feeling that pressure. Some of them are starting to shut down.
But most provinces are sticking with their boycotts. Ontario's LCBO is one of the biggest liquor buyers in the world. 2 weeks ago, the Premier said the alcohol only goes back on the shelves when the U.S. removes their tariffs. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Still ahead, fuel shortage fallout.
I'm sure that affects also the food prices and the flights and everything in our daily lives.
More airline cancellations and at least one insurance company response to fuel shortages caused by the war in the Middle East. Also next.
You start to question whether or not WestJet has an appropriate behavior modification in place.
Details of a proposed settlement in a decade-long lawsuit dealing with alleged harassment of flight attendants. Looking at today's market numbers, the Canadian dollar holding steady near 73 cents U.S. Oil down slightly, 27 cents, now sitting just under $95 a barrel. Gold is up $16. On the stock market, the TSX lost 125 points. The Dow Jones is down 313 on the day. Canada's privacy watchdog is calling for stronger precautions after discovering tens of thousands of tax account breaches. The privacy commissioner says more than 42,000 breaches have been discovered since 2020. It's the result of people gaining unauthorized access to or modifying taxpayer information. A new report points to gaps in the Canada Revenue Agency's monitoring, detection, and handling of breaches. The Commissioner's office says the agency failed to implement mandatory multi-factor authentication in a timely manner. After nearly a decade of litigation, a possible settlement between WestJet and 3,500 flight attendants in a class action lawsuit is before a judge. The lawsuit began when a flight attendant came forward with allegations of sexual assault against a pilot. The issue at hand is whether WestJet breached terms of employment contracts by failing to protect flight attendants with a strong enough anti-harassment policy. The proposed settlement would require WestJet to pay $4.5 million. After legal fees and disbursements, it would work out to $465 per person. The settlement also requires WestJet to hire a third-party consultant to examine the prevalence of harassment at the airline and its reporting procedures.
This case is not about compensating members for harassment that they actually experience, for sexual assault or battery or sexual harassment. It's not about individual harms.
As far as perpetrators and predators at WestJet, they continue to work there, and so you start to question whether or not WestJet has an appropriate behavior modification in place.
The judge can accept or reject the proposal but cannot make any changes to it. 13 members of the class action object to the terms of the settlement. With gas prices hitting their highest levels in years, drivers aren't the only ones trying to adapt. Air Canada is out with new reductions to its flight schedule, and at least one insurance company is no longer covering cancellations related to fuel shortages. CTV's Andrew Johnson reports.
This will mean fewer options for some people who fly on a list of route reductions across multiple airlines that continues to grow. In Metro Vancouver, Alexandra Antonovich is feeling it. She visits her parents several times a year in Raleigh, North Carolina, and was delighted when Air Canada added a direct flight from YVR.
It just takes only 5 hours. Usually I would take connect flights, and that would be about double the time, even triple. With some strikes going on, it was once like a day and a half, so it's just convenient.
But that seasonal route will end early this summer. Air Canada is also ending seasonal routes early from Toronto to Charleston, North Carolina, and Sacramento, California, and from Montreal to Austin, Texas. The airline says the decision was made as a direct result of the price of jet fuel. WestJet also previously announced plans to slash its capacity by nearly 6% in June. Antonovich says it all adds up to another hit to the cost of living in 2026.
We travel around a lot in our car, and we see the gas prices going up every day. I'm sure that affects also the food prices and the flights and everything in our daily lives.
Air Canada says customers who have already booked are being contacted with alternate options or a refund. There is another spin-off effect if you buy insurance to protect you in the event of cancellations. Manulife says it is now classifying the jet fuel shortage as a known event. What that means is if you book travel cancellation or disruption insurance through Manulife after May 5th, problems related to this issue likely won't be covered. It might be a good idea to check with your insurance provider before making any new bookings. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
A couple of new bus services launching soon will make it easier to get to some visitor hotspots around southern Alberta. Flixbus will now operate routes from Edmonton to Drumheller starting next week. Buses will stop in downtown Drumheller and the Royal Tyrrell Museum. In June, Valley Connect will launch in Drumheller. It's a free hop-on, hop-off shuttle service connecting tourist hotspots like the museum, the Hoodoos, and the Atlas coal mine. Still ahead, an Ontario paper welcomes a new columnist who hopes to offer a different perspective on local issues, even if he's a little green.
I want to be able to tell the world these days through a kid's eye.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you tonight on CTV. Programming brought to you by Alberta iGaming Corporation. For integrity, for fun, for Alberta.
The community paper in a small town west of Ottawa has welcomed an eager new writer. The columnist may not have a lot of experience, but he hopes he can give a different perspective on the world. CTV's Sean Varden has more.
Fred Hillier is not your typical 10-year-old. Along with schoolwork, hobbies, and church, he's now the newest and youngest columnist at the Eganville Leader.
I want to be able to tell the world these days through a kid's eye.
His bi-weekly column, Inside Fred's World, offers his hometown of Eganville a unique take from a kid's perspective.
Pretty exciting. It's not something that you see every day, a kid getting to write for a paper.
A good one.
He can write about whatever interests him, and although it can be a lot of work, he hopes his young views will make people think.
I kind of make a list on Google Docs on my Chromebook, and then when I'm done with that list, the next day I write the column. Like this one, I had to make it 530 words or something. It was kind of a little overwhelming.
The Eganville Leader has been part of the Ottawa Valley for more than 120 years.
People were actually excited to see someone that young with that kind of an interest, and I know that he's going to resonate well with our readers.
Fred's next column is about his family's piano, which has been passed down for 5 generations. Also on his list, interviewing the mayor, the fire chief, and letting people know what a special place they call home.
I hope he sticks with it and that we're looking at a couple of years. I think he's got lots of stories to tell.
And while he's currently the youngest, the Eganville Leader actually had a columnist who made it into the world record books for being the oldest news columnist in the world. 96-year-old Al Donahue just stepped away from his role. But from the oldest to the youngest, the Eganville Leader is a paper that brings generations together.
Ever since 1902, the Eganville Leader has been making its people happy or sad or somewhere in between. Yeah. It feels really important to a kid like me from Eganville.
Sean Varden, CTV News.
One last look at your forecast. 7 degrees tomorrow morning. Should be a beautiful evening tonight. In the next couple of hours here, the wind is going to die down. The wind will come back tomorrow, though. By about lunchtime, it'll start to gust once again. Saturday looks calmer. Mostly cloudy to a mix of sun and cloud. Probably pretty cloudy in the morning and then some sunny breaks late in the day. Still up around 20 on Saturday and then 22 for Mother's Day. Gusty. Once again, chance of a scattered shower late in the afternoon. Long-range forecast keeps temperatures on the warm side right through all of next week. In fact, it looks like all the way to the 21st, 22nd of May. Daytime highs would be around or above average and pretty dry for the next couple of weeks as well.
Looks fantastic. Thank you, Josh, and thank you very much for sharing your time with us. For news anytime, check out our website, ctvnewsedmonton.ca. Have a great evening.